intake manifold. This is a real project. Just be warned, this is going to be a booger. This will make you very angry at GM engineers. I was saying a lot of bad words about them yesterday. And why would you want to take this off? Well, the main reason is because you want to get the valve cover off. Because your spark plug seals are leaking, and maybe your spark plugs are getting filled with oil. Or there's some other reason, you know, something's leaking. Maybe you're leaking oil out of here or something. But if you want to take this off, you've got to take this off first, because you cannot get to one side of the bolts. So if you're going to take this off, just note how many bolts there are. They start off with one on each side, one there, and then it alternates. There's two, and then one. Well, actually, that's not one. This is just for the bracket. So there's one, two, then one, and then two, and you can see there's a big tube here, and this is a hose that goes over there, which has to be removed in order to get to this back one. So you got two, and then one again, and then two, and then one. So that's, let's see, 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Looks like 10 bolts. Now, do you need to take this bracket off of here? I thought you did, but I don't think you have to now. I noticed there was this bottom bolt in there, which was a real pain to get at and to get off, because you cannot see it and have a light on it and get a ratchet on it at the same time. So it's lots by feel. But anyways, I undid it, took it off, pulled this off, and there's all kinds of things plugged into here. You can see there's one there that I broke because I was so pissed at this crap. There's one on the side you can't see. There's a bunch in here, I'm not sure how many. There's one there, and there's one there on the side. So all those things have to be removed before you can pull this thing off once you get all these bolts off. Or not off, but unscrewed all the way. And the real kicker is this thing right here, which is a clamp for a big bundle of wires that goes through here. Of course, you know, it's way down there at the bottom, you can't see anything. And I don't think there's really any need for this clamp. I may just pull it off and leave it off. Now this thing here, nobody really talked about it, so I wasn't sure how to get it off. It gets real rigid, real hard, because it's been on there for 143,000 miles with all the heat. And I think it has to do something with the PVC system. But actually the PVC hose is up on top, and it's the only one that I could find that said PVC hose. So I'm not sure what this is designated as. But I tried to get a screwdriver in here to push it down, and I got another one on the back side here to pull it up, and it just ended up, it was coming, but then it ended up breaking right there. And I think this is long enough where I could just square this off, connect it up, and it should be fine. And there's a clamp on here is the reason you can't get it off. One of these stupid clamps, which is unneeded, and I will not be putting this back on because this is not going to budge. It cannot go anywhere because it's got two different directions here which are holding it in place. And I think this can be left on there also. You got your computer or PCM or whatever it is with all the wires going here. It's just, this thing is just a big mess with all the wires and stuff going on this side of the motor. So you see, you get a combination of things. I used one of these air ratchets. First I would get the where is it? I just use these are all 10mm. I used 1/4 inch stuff usually. and then got a flex socket on here, and then extensions. So I would get this all hooked up by feel, because you can't see it. And once I got it to where I thought it was in the right place, then I would take my air ratchet, hook it in here, have one hand down on this part here holding it to the head, and then opening it up and pulling it off. And most of these things came off pretty easily. It's just a matter of finding them, because even by feel, a lot of them are difficult to get to or make sure that you got them on. But this is the kingpin right here. This is a real bad boy. And let's see, what did I use? I disassembled all my stuff. I used I think this 1/4 inch 10mm socket with a flex end on it, which I can't find right now. Had all this stuff here a second ago. You know, one of these, but it's 1/4 inch. Oh yeah, and then here's the other one I used. I had to get this from down below. I did break it loose from up above, just barely, but then wasn't enough room, because this thing, you know, only has like this much room before it hits the frame. So coming down from below, I was able to get this up like this and crank it off, and then I think I attached this with a swivel end on it and a small extension. I was able to finish undoing it by hand. So in order to see that, what I did was I just took my flashlight right here, turned it on, and rested it against that bolt right there. You can see. Just like that, and it shines right on the spot where you need it to be. And you go down below and you can look up and see the head of the bolt, no problem. And this is not going to go anywhere because it's held on by this. So that may help you there. You can see all the crap in here. Here's the computer mess, fuel lines, big bundles of wire, starters there, hoses. So that's about it on the manifold. Good luck if you try it, because you're going to need it. Just one other point about taking that intake manifold off. This is going to be in your way, or it was in my way right here. This is part of the fuel system. This is on there like that. And it has one of these clips on here, which is just like this one. This part goes inside there, and then it snaps down. So you take that off, and then you take one of these tools here, which goes over like this, and then you apply pressure, push into that, and then it pops right off, and then you can pull it off. And I was able to get the manifold, intake manifold, out this way by, I think, twisting it a little bit to the top and then bringing the bottom around this way. And of course all these stuff's in the way. But eventually I was able to work it out here. It's difficult, it's really tight. But by removing this hose here, this is just, there's no fuel in it, it's just the fuel pressure sensor, I think, or regulator. So that's about it on that.